Hello, this is wmpyr here to talk about a technique that is not in Eskrima that I think would be highly beneficial to anyone really. And if this technique is not in your style, I think it doesn't matter that it could really help you out by taking this approach, using these concepts and stuff. So this realization for me came from watching two videos on YouTube. Number one was there is a Japanese uh, karate video floating around on YouTube, and it's in Japanese, but in there they had a guest who was a Chinese martial arts instructor. So he's a kung fu instructor, and this guy was explaining to them how to hit with the body. So that's the technique, is striking with the body. And he says that there's many ways to use this technique, and that a lot of times they use the elbow. They use the elbow to strike, but even though you're using the elbow to strike, it's different from a Muay Thai elbow or your typical elbow strike, that it's more the body. It's really the body striking, and the elbow happens to be there. Rather than I'm using my elbow as a weapon to hit the person, it's I'm using my body to hit the person. I'm just landing it with the elbow, you know. So that's the difference right there, and that's what this guy was showing. And I remember I have a buddy of mine that I still talk to, and back when I had a school, he would come over and he would kind of help me teach and stuff like that. And I known him since college, and he's been a good friend and everything. And so this guy who's been doing martial arts for a very long time, this dude has background in Chinese martial arts, and he's the type of guy that likes to train in nature in the backyard. So he would grab like really big, heavy rocks and lift them, or he would like to practice jumping from rock to work his jumping and balancing skills. And then the other thing is that he did daily was that in his backyard he happened to have three trees that were growing close together. Okay, so he would stand right in the middle of it, and he'd bang his back into one, the right side and the left side, and he would like repeat that kind of motion. So it was conditioning, and this is exactly the same kind of thing that the kung fu instructor was teaching on the karate channel on YouTube, which was, train your body so that you can hit using your body. And now the second video that I saw came from a Sistema instructor who was teaching the Sistema style of punching to MMA fighters. Okay, and I really really liked his approach, because he was saying to the MMA fighters, he was saying, "Hey, I'm not saying that Sistema's better than what you guys do. All I'm saying is just try using some of our concepts and see if it increases your punching power. And if it does, hey, please use it. And if it doesn't, then, don't worry about it, right?" I really, really like that approach. It wasn't like saying my style's better than yours. You should do it our way. We're better. Ours is more effective. It wasn't like that at all. It was saying, hey, if this can help you, please use it. So I really, really like that approach, that way of thinking. And I think, we need to coexist and cross train more. This style versus style stuff is really silly. So anyway, he was doing a lot of detailed explanations for the punches. He was going, try this. Why don't you guys try this next? Now just focus on this. Why don't you try this other thing? So it was a lot of detailed information. And then on one of them, he said, okay, I just want you to like lock your arm and hold your fist up and just hold your arm like that. Don't move your arm. And now you're just going to use just your body to hit. And you don't move the arm, And that was one of the things that they practiced. And man, I thought that was great, because I remember many years ago, I saw a video where they had UFC former champion Chuck Liddell, and they asked him to show how he knocks people out, his punching, because that's what he was famous for. back when he was UFC champ, he was knocking people out. He was a hard puncher. So he showed how he punched, and the explanation was pretty much the same. He was like, lock your arm and just use your body. Don't use your arm. Hit with the body. So this guy was, showing the same thing, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty awesome. Anyway, hitting with the body, the arm is just kind of like a bonus. And that focusing on just using the body, it's something I know. I've known all these years from martial arts. They teach it to you from day one. Don't hit with your arm, hit with the body. Yeah, but there's, this kind of level of focus where it's like, use your body properly so that you can make your punching more powerful. I was like, wow, yeah, that reminded me again about what I saw with the Chuck Liddell. And then a little while back, I was watching Mike Tyson, of all people. I was watching him training and watching his shadow boxing and whatnot. I remember thinking, and this was just a little couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, a couple of months ago. I was studying Mike Tyson, and I was watching his body mechanics, and I really thought to myself, I was like, his punch, when he throws his punch, the punch is all it is just a result of his body. His body is like a machine. It's like the whole thing is like a spring. It's an engine just to produce a punch. That's what I saw. And I was like, wow, his body is 100% dedicated to making his punch more powerful. That's what it looked like to me. It just looked like a machine, an engine, a mechanism for the punch to propel that fist. And, I mean, these are things that I these things, but then, this level of realization, it's like now if that makes sense. And then so I was like, okay, I got to practice that. So I was thinking of, just using my body just as a machine for the punch. And that really, really helped. And then now, watching the Sistema guy, kind of like have a different approach, but still talk about similar or same thing. It's like, wow. And then now go even more extreme with this Kung Fu guy who just says, you know what, forget the punch, just use the body. But the mechanism of the body, you got to develop, to be able to hit like that. So I was like, wow. And that just blew me away. And it takes me back to, once again, these are old things that become new again. Many years ago, I remember I was learning a Russian martial art. And I remember the instructor was like, okay, today we're going to do inch punch. And I was like, whoa, this is from Kung Fu, And so we were practicing from here and boom, right? This is all you get is your finger's length, boom, right? And then he said, okay, half-inch punch. I was like, whoa, that's even harder, boom, right? Half-inch punch. And then he said, 0-inch. So from here, you gotta put that force. And I was like, that's crazy. When he said 0-inch punch, I was like, no way, no freaking way, And then from there, he was like, now it doesn't even have to be a punch. You could use your shoulder, you could use your hip. He was blasting us with his hip. And I'll never forget that to this day. So once again, the old stuff that I already knew from years ago, comes back again and becomes new, and it makes training way more exciting. And now I can't wait to get back to the garage and work on this stuff again. It just makes it refreshing, and it's so cool. But anyway, what I'm trying to tell you guys is just something that I noticed that I believe could really help my Filipino martial arts. I believe it can help you too, is now like try to focus on really the body mechanics, which is something I've been saying all along, but with an added new flair, or should I say a new perspective in a sense. So coming from Kung Fu, coming from Sistema or Russian martial arts, it rejuvenates this kind of idea for me. So I was just so excited and wanted to share it with you guys. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.